Hello and welcome to my channel. I hope you are having a lovely day. And now in this video I will be making some phone holders. Many years ago I made one for myself, and since then I have also built two others for two other people, and right now I am going to be building 17 to sell. There will be more details on that towards the end of the video, but for the meantime let me tell you about the timber that I'm using. This timber is reclaimed sarking I got from renovating old houses. This type of sarking used to be used on the interior walls of old houses, and they used to wallpaper over the top of them. These days you'll find that they have been plasterboarded over the top of that sarking that's also been wallpapered. So if you have an old house in New Zealand, chances are you have plasterboard over the top of sarking, which is then fixed to your studs. What do you want? For those who don't know what I'm looking at, I get these lambs that try and come in and say hello. It's a bit camera shy at the moment. Yes, it is that time of the year in New Zealand where we have lambs everywhere. Right now my workshop is at a farm and we have about 19 lambs around the house that we feed twice a day. Very quickly these lambs become pets and they like to come in and visit my workshop. So we have our piece, it's been denailed. I am going to cut off these two ends that I don't want, and then I'm going to double check with this thing. Don't worry, it's not going to sound like that the whole time. It has a vibrating setting. I'll check for nails before I go and put it into my planer. So, let's do that. If it wasn't clear by my previous explaining, what I have is a metal detector, and since I work with reclaimed timber quite a lot, I will use this to double check that there's no nails in my material before I put it through my thicknesser. I do this process with everything I put through my thicknesser because it costs a lot of money to replace blades, and it's always best to be safe rather than sorry. And now we get to move on to the thicknesser. Personally, this is my favourite part, using reclaimed wood, because you really get to see the timber transform from this old, horrible looking piece of wood into something really beautiful and workable. When I use the thicknesser, I like to set the depth higher than what I need, and then I slowly make my way down until I start chipping out some timber, and then from then I will proceed with quarter turns. If I do any more than that, I end up taking out way too much timber and it makes it very difficult for my planer. Now it is at this point that I do something really dumb. Not dangerously dumb, just for whatever reason I started adjusting the thickness the wrong way around, and I started to believe that there was something wrong with my thicknesser, which made me a bit sad because I do really enjoy using this thicknesser. T-Walt, you should sponsor me. I'll talk very greatly about your tools. So I proceed to pull it apart and investigate, and my camera dies. So I pull out my phone, and if you have trouble when your blades aren't spinning, there's a chance that your belt is worn out and broken, and these are replaceable. But everything was fine. It was just, there was something wrong with me, not my machine. But anyway, I was able to continue using the thicknesser without any problems. Alright, so after I've chucked it through the thicknesser, I will plane an edge, because usually one of the edges won't be very straight, and I'll try and get it pretty close, like this is pretty good, and then I will put this edge up against my table saw, and then I'll rip this side, and ideally that should make this side relatively straight, and then I'll go back and do that one, and then I will go through with my electric planer, which I have here, and plane them both until they're looking nice and smooth, because my planer can get things pretty nice and smooth. So it is by this point I've already ripped both sides and they are looking nice and clean. So now I'm using my table saw to rip the grooves. Admittedly, I did rip the grooves on the wrong side, but at the end of the day it doesn't matter as long as the grooves look nice. Obviously on this day my brain was just not working very well with me. Now, I won't bore you with the sanding. No one likes sanding. I feel like it would be very boring if I were to just show you me sanding this. Just know that I worked my way from 60 grit all the way down to 240 grit. I may wet sand this, but I don't think it's necessary with 240 grit, giving it quite a nice feel. So, now we just glue these two pieces together. Hopefully I don't make too much of a mess. Let's go. So for those who have been hearing a clicking noise in the background, that is a electric fence energizer, and I could turn it off, but really it sort of needs to stay on, and if I turn it off I will probably forget to turn it back on. So sorry about that noise, and sorry if you didn't notice it before, because now you will. Sorry and you're welcome. And just as I was finishing clamping my glue up, I had a sneaky, uninvited guest.
He walks away, and this guy apparently had been watching us from his balcony.
Hello.
This old man was
Hello.
like, "Hey, you shouldn't play on the ice."
Hello. Are you coming to help, are we? Are you coming to be a nuisance?
As you're leaving, your brother's
I think he's coming in to be a nuisance. Excuse me, where are you going?
I saved us. Appreciate it. Anyway, sorry, didn't mean that. Just want to give you time. Those can't really mean picture of you and your brother being those demons who try to lead other children to their death. Yeah. If you're doing something that looks fun, and some kid shows up and is like, you stand there watching. You gotta understand, me and my brother's childhood was the same thing.
Now with that distraction out of the way, I proceeded to finish adjusting my clamps until I was happy, and then I set this aside to let it dry. Once it had finished drying, I proceeded to cut the phone holders on my miter saw. Originally I was going to get 19 phone holders out of this one length, but the last bit was on its way to splitting and I didn't really feel comfortable cutting it because I was worried it was going to split mid-cutting and then cause a kickback. Also, as I was cutting these, I made sure to not mix them up so that you would still see the timber grain flow. Right, now that we have all of these cut, it's time to clean the edges. So from the, I don't know if we can see this, but from the ripping of the ripsaw, it's got all these grooves on them. It's not going to focus on me, but yeah, it's got all these grooves. So we're going to grab our chisel and we're going to clean up these grooves so they look nice. Functional wise, it doesn't really do much. My original one still has its grooves in it and it works fine, but just for aesthetics, we're going to clean these up. So let's go. Unfortunately, I came across the 12th piece and I started working on it and I realised that there was a split in it, and there were actually a few more that had a split in it. So I had to repair them by opening the split up enough to fit in glue, and I clamped it, left it to dry, and then came back to it. Now the area where it split is going to be much more stronger than any other grain of the timber. Now that these are finally sanded and looking pretty nice, it is time to oil them. The oil I'm using is obviously Danish oil. I just gotta open this here. I just have to open it. Just open it.
Oh, why are you so difficult? Is it a squeeze or is it a push? Push.
It's a push.
Twist.
What is the point of having a kitty lock if even adults can't open it? Just need to open it. without any struggle whatsoever.
Oh, come on. Push and twist.
Push and twist. Just opening it.
Push down and
It's just a lid.
push. Twist.
And looks like we're there.
And twist.
Oh, maybe not.
No, it does it. Oh no, have I broken it? No, I still got it.
Alright. Now with that out of the road, these can be oiled.
That went very smoothly.
So there's about 4 other ones. And there's a sheep trying to come in. Let's have a nosy. Hello you. You broke in. Hey? You broke in. What are you doing in here? Spot? What are we doing? Nothing gets past you, eh buddy? Hey? Here. Spot, come here. Come here, Spotty. Don't you pee anywhere. That's not for eating. He's waiting. Oh God. He's waiting on a good scratch and he's probably going to knock the buckets down. Is he going to do it? He might. You're a menace. You're an absolute menace. I suppose it's time for his good old scratching. Hello, you. Come here. Come here, you. Come here. Come. Oh. Can he hear you? Spotty? Oh, look at the scratches. You got the scratches and the cuddles. Got the scratches and the cuddles. You menace? You menace? Hey. You menace? You menace? Oh, the cuddles for his bodies. Oh, the cuddles for his bodies. Right. Is it time to go yet? Is it time to go? You menace? Eh? You menace? Nothing gets past you, eh, Spotties? I put up a barrier to stop you coming in. But nothing gets past you. Nothing gets past you. Oh my god, you've literally... Oh, why are all these metal fragments on you? Oh, what have you been rubbing yourself against?
Look, there's all these metal fragments against your fluff. Oh my god. There's all these metal fragments against your fluff. Oh. Spotties, what is going on here? And that is the lamb. I suppose you can't see very much. Yes. And now he's just going to sit right there like a menace. Hey Spot. Like a freaking menace. Hey? You're a menace. You're a big menace. That's my work buddy.